Good evening. It's great to be here in not really Birmingham. It's the last night of the tour, so this is the final night. Yeah, we said at the start of the tour we wanted to end in a real special, significant place. Sutton Coldfield's all right, isn't it? Now, I'm going to welcome my dad out in a second. Now, a lot of you, I imagine, have been to my dad's events before, 10 hours, 11 hours, sleeping bags out the ready. They're not like that now. We're just going to chat for about an hour, and then we're going to open it up to a Q&A. Try and get round as many people as we possibly can, but as you know, we don't do short answers. So there may well only be one of you, so get in there quick. I will just ask one favour, though, before we start. Don't mention Donald Trump. Okay? Because we ain't told him yet. Only joking, of course. I'm sure the first hour will be very much about the US election and what it all means and what it will mean for us here in the UK. So without further ado, please welcome to the stage David Icke, my dad.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Whoa. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you very much. How lovely. I love Birmingham, I do. I used to work here, for BRNB and Tony Butler. BRNB Sport. Oh, yeah, I remember all those days. They were lovely. What are we going to talk about? Has something happened today? What's gone on?
Well, I know you're a massive fan. So Trump wins the election. Now, obviously, in the old days, we used to acknowledge, pretty much all of us, that people are selected, not elected. Suddenly, that's not a thing anymore. Why do you think they've allowed him to become President of the United States for a second time?
Well, how long you got, right? There's a lot of dots to connect here. Not necessarily not going to be some upheavals, in the run-up to him being inaugurated. But, I've got this phrase I've used for years, which is know the outcome and you'll see the journey. If you don't know what the outcome is planned to be, then events can look random, like, why are they doing this? And this has just happened, and it's not connected to this, and it's not connected to that. But when you know what the outcome is planned to be, you can see the apparently random events as being stepping stones, what I call the totalitarian tiptoe, to that outcome. And what we have is an outcome that seeks to, for instance, fuse humans with artificial intelligence. So we have this guy at Google, Ray Kurzweil, who some years ago said that by 2030, which is a major year for these people, when they want lots of these things in place, by 2030, humans will have their brains, bodies connected to artificial intelligence. And his words, from the moment that connection takes place, artificial intelligence will do more and more of human thinking until human thinking as we know it is basically negligible. Now that's the outcome that they want. And from that comes human control on a level that in known human history we've never seen. It creates what I would call the hive mind, where people, instead of coming to their own conclusions, come to the conclusions that AI feeds to them. Now, on the so-called left in politics, although it's not the left that I grew up in Leicester, it's the woke left now. But the Democrats and the woke left basically are rolling over to this stuff. Like in this country, you're going to see the Starmer government pushing on with this stuff as well, even though they appear to be the opposite of Trump. And so what they have, the problem they have, is the people that don't want it. The people that don't want this AI human fusion, they don't want this AI control system, they don't want any of it. Now, in the United States, that overwhelmingly is that group of people of 75 million or whatever that support Trump. So what we have is what I call designer manipulation. You have different belief systems, and therefore you have to pitch your manipulation to that belief system. You'll tell one group that if they allow themselves to be fused with AI, they'll become gods. They'll become supermen and superwomen. And they'll buy that. But there's this massive group of people that have been talking for years about people being chipped and people being connected to artificial intelligence. They don't want it. So what do you do with them? You have to pitch your manipulation to that belief system. And therefore, if you notice what has happened since Trump said that he was going to run again, which was very predictable, is that Elon Musk and this group of AI Silicon Valley billionaires have circled the wagons around him. In recent weeks and months, Elon Musk has absolutely gone crazy in his support for Trump. Now, you remember that Musk said quite a few years ago now that artificial intelligence could be the end of humanity. But he's gone on ever since, bringing out more and more AI and promoting more and more use of AI. And he said something very significant, which is the AI fusion with humans is inevitable. And if we don't, then humans as we know them will die out. They'll cease to be. So what you have is designer manipulation to the left. You'll be gods. And designer manipulation to the right that says, if we don't, we're going to die out. So it's best to do it my way and trust me, because I'll have your back watched in terms of AI and what have you, and we should have regulations and all this stuff. So then you look at this group around Donald Trump. A key figure is someone called Peter Thiel. Now, Peter Thiel co-founded an organization, a company called Palantir, which supplies the intelligence community, the Pentagon, etc., with surveillance technology and other technology that benefits human control. And this Peter Thiel is on the steering committee of the Bilderberg Group, which is one of those organizations that people dub globalist. It's been pushing for world government and centralization of global power at a world level, dictating to everyone on the planet. At the same time, the other co-founder of Palantir is a guy called Alex Karp, and he's on the steering committee of the Bilderberg Group, this globalist organization. Ironic then that Peter Thiel is a business associate and has funded the political career of J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, who says he's against globalism and wants to stop it. Another key Trump supporter, very, very active in this whole campaign, is a guy called Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a business associate of Peter Thiel. And then you look at Thiel's background, and he was the first private investor in Facebook, and he was a co-founder of PayPal. And a group emerged which became known as the PayPal Mafia, including Elon Musk, including a guy called David Sacks. And it just happens that Musk and Sacks are also massive supporters of the Trump presidency. So is another Silicon Valley billionaire called Mark Andreessen. There are so many others. So these guys are not supporting Trump because they think he's going to be of benefit to the masses. They're supporting him because they know he's going to be of benefit to them. And it's absolutely vital that we realize that we live in one-party states whereby some parties can go in the direction of the agenda faster than others, because some parties, like the Conservative Party in this country, they have an area of their support, call it Middle England, whatever, that also doesn't want this stuff. It doesn't want this World Economic Forum, global cult, as I call it, agenda. So it has to be more circumspect in the way that it sells the agenda, and it has to be more careful in how fast it moves towards it, because people will see that that's what it's doing. In America, the Democrats, who don't have that pushback, they can go very fast with it, and the Republican Party has to be more circumspect. It has to sell that in a different way. And that's what we're seeing. You see, the reason that I could see from the start that Elon Musk being allowed, because he was, to buy Twitter, now X, was a scam, is because I've been tracking the guy for years before. When I talk about this human hive mind, what Kurzweil said exactly was that from 2030, the human brain would be connected to the cloud. Now, i.e. artificial intelligence, and the cloud is eventually, and it's becoming so all the time, a global, technologically generated electromagnetic field to which the human brain is designed to be connected and to interact with. And so in the body, you need a receiver to interact with that electromagnetic cloud. So you need the cloud and you need the receiver. Well, when you look at this COVID fake vaccine and you see what they're finding in the blood, you're seeing self-replicating nanotechnology creating systems, and they're finding something called graphene oxide. Graphene oxide is a superconductor of electricity, and of course the brain and the body interact through electrical communication. Play with that, you play with human perception. And it's also, graphene oxide, an amplifier of electromagnetic fields in the body. So if you've got graphene oxide in the body and you come into contact with an electromagnetic field, it's going to have a greater impact than if you hadn't got graphene oxide. So if you look at Musk, he's, through this SpaceX, been putting up low-orbit satellites under his Starlink system to beam electromagnetic frequencies and communication to the Earth. And if you want to cover the Earth with the cloud, yes, you can cover areas of it, like urban areas, with 5G towers, 6G, 7G to come. But you're not going to cover every inch of the planet with towers. To do that, it has to come from above. And so SpaceX has now got thousands of low-orbit satellites up there and permission to put up eventually tens of thousands. And it's designed with others, but SpaceX is the leader, to generate this electromagnetic field that Kurzweil calls, and others call, the cloud. And I don't know whether you know the background to SpaceX, but this is the official story that's come out. Elon Musk was flying to Russia with a CIA operative called Michael Griffin. And they were planning to do a deal to buy intercontinental ballistic missiles. I mean, go figure. The deal didn't happen, and according to Griffin, on the way back in the plane, Musk announced he was going to start this SpaceX, and he offered Griffin a job. Griffin didn't take it because he was offered another job to be head of a CIA operation. He was a CIA operative called In-Q-Tel, or IQT. This is the technological development arm and seed funding arm of the CIA. It seed funds companies that are developing technology that benefits the CIA's agenda of human control. So away goes Griffin to In-Q-Tel, and then he was given another job, head of NASA. And when he got that job, SpaceX started to be given massive contracts by NASA, which go on to this day, because of Griffin's input. So if you look at SpaceX, ostensibly it appears to be a private company. It's not. It's an arm's length operation of NASA and the Pentagon. And recently, an associate of Elon Musk was questioned about this story that came out that he was in phone contact with Putin in Russia quite regularly. And this guy said he would absolutely doubt that Musk would have those conversations with Putin without permission, given that because of SpaceX and other companies, probably, but definitely SpaceX, that Musk was had access to classified material from the intelligence networks and the Pentagon and NASA. So we're being asked to believe that this guy is working for the people and the system's trying to bring him down, when his companies, not just SpaceX, benefit enormously in terms of SpaceX. It exists because of fantastic government contracts and subsidies. And so then you look at Twitter X, which has been the platform which has become the Trump promotion arm in the last few months, absolutely over the top. Now, I'm not saying this because I support Harris. Oh my God, are you kidding? If she's got two brains to rub, cells to rub together, well, that's as much as we can hope for. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that it's a one-party state, and they are designer manipulating different belief systems on the basis of what these belief systems think and believe. So if you want to have someone like Musk, who's doing this in terms of SpaceX, who is has a company called Neuralink, which is brain chipping people, and you are trying to designer manipulate a belief system that has been warning for a long time about the AI agenda and the chipping agenda to perceptually control humanity. If you look at quite a lot of people in what's called the alternative media before he bought Twitter, they were calling him out on this. I was bloody calling him out on this. That his companies were, look at Tesla and the electric vehicle agenda. He was ticking the boxes of all these World Economic Forum global cult agendas in his companies. And yet what you're trying to do is make him a hero of those that otherwise would be calling him out. So what do? You let him buy Twitter. So, you say to people, okay, what was Twitter like before Elon Musk? Oh, the deep state controlled it. Oh, really? Okay. What does that mean? Oh, they were deciding who could be, what you could say and what you couldn't say, and who could be on it and who couldn't. Oh, yeah, bloody right. Well, so the deep state then had it exactly where it wanted. It was dictating what could be seen. Yeah. So why did they sell it to him? A free speech, quote, absolutist, who then started letting people on who were banned before, and this made him not only a free speech hero, the alternative media, the central part of it that gets all the algorithmic support and all the funding, stopped calling him out on his companies and what they were doing. It was a wonderful psyop. And so then you think, well, at least he's into free speech. Okay. Well, these are official figures. Under Twitter, before Elon Musk, 50% of demands by authorities in their various forms for content to be deleted were deleted by Twitter. Since Musk took over, it's 80%. So how come? What happens is he'll pick a fight with a country, say Brazil, which he then backs down on, which was so unbelievably predictable, or Australia, and he'll make a big thing about fighting for freedom of speech. But in the background, silently, not spoken about, all this stuff is actually being taken down. Not even to mention the massive shadow banning that goes on among people that are outside the narrative. And then he picked this fight with Australia, and it was about the preacher who was stabbed on video. And the Australian government said that they wanted it taken down. And Musk X took it down in Australia. No, said the Australian government, we want it taken down globally. So there was a pushback on that from Musk, and it got into a very public fight. Because, oh no, I'm not taking it down globally because I'll take it down in Australia. Well, in the 6 months to March 2024, 40,000 pieces of content were taken down by X on the say-so of the EU, and they were taken down globally, not just inside the EU. And as the Australian government, pathetic as it is, said, X has taken down other content demanded by the Australian government globally. So we're looking at, in my opinion anyway, and I've been looking at this for a long time, a massive psyop, which has turned a guy who is ticking the box of so much on the wish list of the World Economic Forum global cult. It's been turned into a free speech hero and has therefore been given a free pass by the most promoted part of the alternative media. And so then you look at what's going to happen from now on. During the first Trump presidency, there was a significant part of the alternative media that was all Trump supporters that basically gave him a free ride, even though he was going back on what he said. They gave him largely a free ride over claiming to this day credit for the rollout of the fake COVID vaccine called Operation Warp Speed. What's going to happen now is in this crucial period, he's going to come in January 2025 for 4 years. At least that's the plan. We'll see how that works out. But that will take us to 2029. Starmer has just come in this country, and his 5 years will take him to basically the same point. There won't be another president of the United States if Trump goes full term until 2030. So in this crucial period where they want to, from 2025 onwards, there's a button being pressed. It's what I call perceptual blitzkrieg, where we're going to be have everything thrown at us. So while we're reacting to one thing, something else is happening, or something else is happening. It's a mass manipulation technique called, they call future shock. You give people so many shocks in a short time that basically they don't know how to cope. And so in this crucial period, where they want so many of these things in place, not least AI, that's the big one, by 2030, you've got these people now coming into political power who are going to span that period. And what we're going to have is an alternative media, which I say has been hijacked since COVID by mainstreamers that have come in and basically taken it over, that are going to zip their mouths for reasons of, unless it gets so blatantly obvious, then some of them might break ranks, but most of them will go with it. They have, in this period of the second Trump campaign, they have nailed their colors to Trump. They've put their reputations on the line. Trump's the savior. Now, they're going to be very, very reticent in this period to come out and say, we were duped a second time. We misread. They're not going to want to do that. They're going to want to try to double down. Trump is the savior. And they're going to find, like they did the last time, loads of excuses for why he's doing what he's doing. And they'll find loads of excuses for why Musk's doing what he's doing, which they already have. And so we are in a situation where I'm sure some things will be done in the Trump presidency that people in this room would say, yeah, I agree with that. And I will say it too if it happens. Because they can't just not do anything they said they were going to do. Because obviously that's just rubbing your nose in it. But the thing to hold on to in this period is what's the direction of travel? Where are we being taken? Never mind the rhetoric, words are easy. What's the direction of travel? And you'll see that it is towards more and more control by artificial intelligence, moving towards the fusion of humans and artificial intelligence. And one of the key things that Musk is saying is that the fusion of humans or artificial intelligence in general is inevitable. It's inevitable it's going to get more and more, quote, intelligent. And thus, if we don't fuse with it, we, as a human race, are going to die out and get left behind. In other words, what he's saying is, it's inevitable. Now, that is a massive perceptual manipulation technique. Because when you have on one side, this needs to happen because we'll become gods and superhuman, and they buy that, okay. But over here, they don't want that. So you dilute the waters by saying it's inevitable that this is going to happen. It's not, because it's human decisions that are making those decisions that allow artificial intelligence to get more and more control of human society. It's the Federal Communications Commission, a government agency, that's giving Musk and SpaceX permission to put those low-orbit satellites up. It's not inevitable. These are human decisions. But what the perception of it being inevitable does is dilute the resistance to, we don't want this at all. Because then you move from trying to stop it to trying to mitigate something you are being told is inevitable. And like I say, it's designer manipulation. What's the belief system we're targeting? Okay, how do we get them on the same page as them through a different means? And that's why I've been saying over this period of this election campaign that whether it's Trump or Harris, it's simply, they are simply different routes to the same outcome, depending on the belief system of the people involved. And we need to get streetwise to this, because this will be what will be unfolding in a Trump